What's up, and welcome in to Under the Hood with me, Jay Hood. Thanks so much for downloading the podcast and checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com. We are presented by the fine folks over at Northwestern Medicine. There is a new outpatient center in Bronzeville at 4822 South Cottage Grove in Chicago. Northwestern Medicine with their outpatient center for dermatology, the cancer center, the immediate care, the primary care. It has a broad range of services with leading medicine and compassion. What makes us better makes you better at Northwestern Medicine Bronzeville. They are a partner with to Northwestern Medicine for partnering with us. And again, 4822 South Cottage Grove for Northwestern Medicine Bronzeville. We have got so much to talk about. We're going to hear from my crazy cousin Wiley in just a moment. But we got to talk about that 31-14 victory for the Chicago Bears over the Dallas Cowboys. How about that? There's three things I want to talk about before we turn it over to my cousin Wiley. Number one, this game was not necessarily about the Chicago Bears winning a game because we've seen the Bears win before, but it was the first win in the Ben Johnson era. It's great for Ben Johnson, but it's also great for the players. Players need to be able to have something positive because a tough loss against Minnesota, then being dog walked by the Detroit Lions, and then this game here against the Dallas Cowboys, it was not easy, even though it was at home. But I think that the bottom line is that it was so good to have something positive going into Soldier Field and winning. The last time the Bears won a game was in October against Carolina. So almost a full year where the players went to Soldier Field and lost, where the fans were pissed off and disappointed. Finally, smiles coming out of Soldier Field and seeing the Bears be able to win a game. I'm overjoyed for the Bears that they were able to win a game. Now you have to continue that momentum going into the Vegas game, as you well know. Being 500, 2-2 going in the bye is great. But I think that, again, when you have not won a game since last October at home and you were able to do it against the Dallas Cowboys, I think that was great. Three things that really stood out to me. Number one, you have to go to number 18 and Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is so impressive, 298 yards, 4 touchdowns, and you take a look at the other numbers for Caleb Williams, 142.6 as far as a passer rating. That's a career high for him. He matched a career high with 4 touchdown passes, and he had a 65-yard flea-flicker to rookie receiver Luther Burton III, who had 3 catches for a game-high 101 points. The number one thing is that Caleb Williams looked comfortable in the pocket. He was able to get the ball down the field. I love that he had the deep ball going, the flea-flicker, and he was able to run what he needed to, but ultimately it was about an offensive rhythm for Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. There wasn't much of a pass rush from Matt Eberflus's Cowboys defense. That's what happens when you trade Micah Parsons. But there wasn't much of a pass rush there. So the offensive line and Caleb Williams and the offense as a whole really worked well together in concert for the Bears to be able to score. So I was really happy to see that. So shout out to Caleb Williams because now he just has to build on this. It's about consistency. The head coach for the Bears, Ben Johnson, talked about it in the press conference. He talked about how, he really likes what he's seen from Caleb, but it's just about being consistent. You just can't revert back to old habits. So Caleb Williams shut a lot of people up. So I liked what I saw there from number 18, the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. The number 2 thing is that guy on the screen, Coach Johnson. So I really liked the play calling and the playmaking, how it all was stellar and it worked together. There was a time in the game that the Bears had 11 straight runs on a 19-play touchdown drive. And Ben Johnson said in the press conference that he had no idea that there was 11 straight runs for a 19-play drive. But that's what it comes down to. Sometimes, as he will tell you, that games are different. Every game has its own imagination, has its own look to it. And so for the Bears to be able to not necessarily have great numbers from a running standpoint overall, but to be able to wear down that defense the way that the Bears did, I think that was great. There's something to be said about when you're out there as a defense and you are sucking wind because you can't get off the field, and a 19-play touchdown drive helped the Bears with that victory. I really liked what I saw there from the Bears because they were relentless against the Dallas defense. So I really like that. The number three thing is the defense overall for the Chicago Bears. So I've been hard on the Bears defense, and rightfully so, because when you give up, 51, 52 points to the Detroit Lions, that was just embarrassing. And so we found out that Jaquan Brisker and Grady Jarrett of the Bears held a players only meeting just with the defensive unit after that second game. It was no coaches in there, just the players. And they aired each other out and they talked about it. Like, why can we not get this done? It would be easy for me to sit here and tell you about all the injuries that the Bears have at the linebacker position in the secondary, no Jalen Johnson, and talk about that. But I think that if you're a unit, you have to have some pride. And this team made sure that they had some pride. They had 4 takeaways in the contest. I love what I saw there because you saw a defense getting the job done. 4 takeaways, allowing just 1 touchdown, and leading the Bears to a 31-14 victory. It all started with Tyreek Stevenson, the much maligned Tyreek Stevenson, punches a ball out like Peanut Tillman. And so now the Bears get the ball in the first quarter. And from there, you had Tremaine Edmonds, who had a really, really great game where you have Edmonds with 2 picks. You have Noah Sewell that played well defensively for the Bears. Byard was had his own interception, but at the same time, he was hitting guys. Robinson with a sack. We saw Montez Sweat with a sack. So I really thought that the Chicago Bears defense came out of the dark. Finally, they came out of the dark and was able to do something defensively. So, unlike last week, all 3 phases came to play: offense, defense, and special teams, and the Bears win over the Dallas Cowboys 31-14. Now, how can they continue that momentum? That's a really great question, because with the Chicago Bears fans all coming to Vegas, I know they're going to make a lot of noise. It's up to the offense to be able to run the football a little bit more effectively. Never confuse activity with accomplishment. I saw the numbers, and even though the Bears ran hard, you need to be able to have more from the running game because it just alleviates the pressure on Caleb Williams. The ball's in the air a lot with Caleb Williams, but it just his vision down the field to Adunze, to Luther Burden, to Colston Loveland, to Cole Kmet, and DJ Moore was really good. Really good. He's seeing the field well. Now, can he do that against Vegas? That's the big question. But as far as the first win for the Bears is exactly what the Bears needed, because this could have been 0-3, and then I'd come on here on a Monday talking to you about the draft. That would not get clicks. That would not be fun conversation to talk about who the Bears should get in the draft after being 0-3. There are a number of teams that are 0-3 with no hope in the National Football League. At least the Bears pulled the nose up on their plane and was able to get a victory. 2-2 going into the bye would be ideal for the Bears to be able to win this game coming up on Sunday. But all 3 phases have to continue to play. The Bears don't win the game unless the defense if the defense doesn't make plays, it'll be hard for the Bears to win. The defense made plays, Tremaine Edmonds and others. But yeah, that was pretty solid. And I was happy finally after a Bears game to see fans at Soldier Field ranting and being happy and high-fiving each other and smiles. That was awesome to see with the Bears with their victory against Dallas. All right. I gave you my 3 things. Caleb Williams, the play calling and playmaking was great. The defense came together. And so that's awesome. Now we turn to my crazy cousin Wiley. We'll find out his thoughts as he watched from his couch as we talk about the Bears. The Bears win 1-2 going into the game against Las Vegas. We're presented by Northwestern Medicine, nm.org. I want to make sure I give that website, nm.org. This has been on the news about Northwestern Medicine opening up their outpatient center in Bronzeville. They're partnering with us at ESPN Chicago, and now under the hood, they have all these things that can help you. Broad range of services. What makes us better makes you better. nm.org for Northwestern Medicine, Bronzeville. The Chicago Bears with their victory. Finally, we can come on here and talk about a Bears victory. First time, Cuzzo, a Bears victory at home since October of last year against Carolina. What's up, Cuzzo?
What's going on, Cuzzo? Ah, this feels great. Feels like a relief, though. I'm a little relieved by this, but everything, the whiskey tasted better.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was just a little bit better today than it was yesterday. Packers lost, Bears win. Life is good. Life is good.
Life is good when you don't have a pass rush if you're Dallas, right? And then
Yes.
you see a clean pocket for Caleb Williams to throw into. This is the most comfortable I've seen him in a long time, where everything was in stride. People say that, well, it was the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, the Bears are going to win. Ain't nothing guaranteed in this league, as you well know. Browns beat the Packers. Like, that's not supposed to happen.
Right.
There was nothing guaranteed, but the Bears earned that victory on Sunday.
And that's bullshit too, though, Hood. That the Bears were supposed to win. Like, very few of those people who are saying that today picked the Bears to win prior to the game. Now the result made them change their mind, but no one thought the Bears were slam dunk to win. The sports books, the fans, no one, not even the media, believed the Bears were a shoe-in to beat the Cowboys, especially with their shit defense in an offense that was averaging 19 points a game prior to facing Dallas. So we can say today, many can say today, yeah, oh, well, we knew the Bears were going to win. It was Dallas, huh? It means nothing. No, it means a lot. We saw a quarterback and a coach take a step. We saw not the step we saw Caleb take it with the Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars games last year, where it was hurry up offense and he got hot because of hurry up offense. We saw him playing in the pocket, playing in structure, and playing point guard and distributing the ball to all of his weapons. So this was, to me, a positive step for the offense. I know the defense gave him 14 points, but, I can't really say it was a positive step for the defense. But I'm encouraged by what I saw from Ben and from Caleb in the offense. So let's celebrate this win, and let's get another win before the bye.
You just want to just continue that momentum, right? So there was like a conversation about how come you can't get the rookies involved. And like anytime that you lose, because everyone bitches about everything, I was not tripping on Luther Burden and Colston Loveland getting like 10 receptions. I just sometimes I just want to people just think a minute. Ben Johnson had a lot to do with this past draft. I thought it was we were covering the draft together, and I said, "Oh, Luther Burden. Well, you already have a tight end in Cole Kmet. Do you need another one? Okay, you got another one. You got you got Colston Loveland as a tight end. You got Luther Burden as a wide receiver. And I said, don't you already have wide receivers? You're putting a hat on a hat on a hat. You're walking around with 3 hats. Everybody's got to eat, man. It's like a talented offense in basketball. Like everyone's got to take shots. And so Luther Burden had 3 receptions, got a touchdown, got over 100 yards. Good for him. But DJ Moore and Roma Dunze and Zacchaeus and Komet, all these dudes want the football. So I'm just saying, like, hey man, it's a great problem to have, but you knew that Burden and Loveland are going to get theirs. It just didn't have to be immediate. Everyone's got to eat. Somewhere along the line, DJ Moore's going to be pissed off, like, hey man, where's mine?
Well, DJ Moore is always pouty, but I agree with you, Hood. Like, this isn't the case of the Bears were not playing Burden or not getting Loveland the ball because they sucked.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of a case of their number just not being called. And then yesterday we saw touchdown Luther score. We saw Loveland being targeted 3 times prior to injury. We saw Komet get a touchdown. And we saw DJ Moore finally get a touchdown. We saw, Odunze continue to build on a rapport that he has with Caleb and get another touchdown. But he didn't have another 100-yard game. He was just effective when he needed to be effective. So I thought it was a great game plan. I thought this was the Ben Johnson that we saw in Detroit, and I'm excited about it. I'm hoping that they build on the success offensively. I'm still not expecting much from the defense, so the defense gives me, another 20-point game or 14-point game, fine, but I don't expect them to stop teams from scoring. I saw yesterday's defensive performance more as a luck and more about Dallas missing CeeDee Lamb and not adjusting without Lamb than it was the Bears defense doing anything. So, yeah,
Yeah,
offensively, great.
George Pickens had a touchdown, 5 receptions, 68 yards. They went to Ferguson a lot. The Cowboys, 13 receptions, 82 yards. He was targeted 14 times. Turpin, 2 for 64. Yeah, so it starts with Tyreek Stevenson. This is his show now. We talked about this last week, right? So no Jalen Johnson. This has got to be on Tyreek Stevenson. And people looked at him like the nappy head kid in school. Just like, oh, he's always a bad kid. Put his desk outside. The classroom. Don't let him talk. Just don't put him out. No, he actually understands that this is his time. No Jalen Johnson, so he had to make plays. That dude punched the ball out like Peanut Tillman, and that was really, I think, the start of how this defense was coming to play. You see how the Bears got torn up from a running game standpoint, their defense. Javonte Williams had some really tough yards, but that ball being punched out by Tyreek, I think, really started a lot for the Bears defensively.
I agree with you, and we criticize Tyreek Stevenson a lot. I thought yesterday he probably played one of his best games as a Bear. Mm-hmm. Period, from beginning to end. Like, he was great in coverage. He was great against the run, and then he was looking to force turnovers, and he did. He forced a turnover that likely turned the game around for the Bears, defense and offensively. So I think we should give Tyreek Stevenson his flowers for his performance yesterday. But yeah, he is the star of the secondary. I would love for Brisker to show back up. I'm not sure if he's still concussed or what, but I haven't seen him this year. Hopefully he gets healthy and gets on the field because I haven't seen Jaquan Brisker at all. He's like just been missing. I don't know. Have you seen him?
He was out there. Yes, he played yesterday.
I missed it. I'm sorry. My apologies.
No, he was out there because you watched the game. You like for him to have a bigger impact, I'm sure.
I would like to see the Brisker I was watching last year prior to him getting his 12th concussion. I would love to see that guy again. I don't know if he's still around.
Oh my God.
Is he in there somewhere? If he is, just knock him upside the head a little bit. Like, just wake him up. Wake that guy up. That guy was great. No, that guy was unbelievable.
Yeah, I understand. He's not dead. You have him dead. He did not pass away. He's still on the team. As a matter of fact, I earlier I gave Jaquan Brisker his flowers, not because he died. I gave him his flowers because he and Grady Jarrett had a meeting. It was Jarrett and Brisker led a defensive-only team meeting to be able to discuss why the fuck they looked so bad against Detroit. And so I think that says a lot through the first two games. There was no coaches involved. They had this meeting and they wanted to talk about it. And I think that, they came to play after that meeting. Usually you don't have a meeting that early, but they didn't want to get out of the hand. So Brisker, who is alive, helped out in that meeting with Grady Jarrett, the Reverend Grady Jarrett.
That's good. I really love Jarrett's leadership and his professionalism that he brings to the team. I would love to see a little bit more on the field. I know he's nursing a knee injury, but I would love to see a little bit more on the field because it's more meaningful when you're speaking and playing well. If not, then you just become, the Bears tight end that hung around for like 50 years. You become that guy who's just out there telling you, when I was your age, I used to do it this way. No, like you have to still be playing well and speaking up, but yeah, I love the addition of him if he's playing well because he is a professional. He's a pro's pro, and the Bears were lacking that defensively in a lot of ways last year. So it's good. He's a great addition, but I would love more production from both players because we can't expect to face teams, who are that terrible defensively in the future. So we're going to need some help in the defense, creating pressure. And we can't leave Wright on many islands for 5 seconds because we've seen Wright get burned a million times. So we're going to need some more push from the defensive line. But yeah, it was nice to have a team only, players only meeting, and then get production from that meeting, because we saw the Bears with like 50 of them last year on the Eberflus, and nothing changed. They actually got worse after every meeting. So it's positive.
I want you to think about this, about Matt Eberflus, defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. He was in the building. He worked with Caleb Williams. He worked with this team. This guy had to be in Valley Ranch with all the rest, with Schottenheimer and all the other coaches, and probably talk to Eberflus like, hey, man, can you give us any advantage in this game? And it just shows you, dude, if you can't help, I mean, were you not sitting next to Caleb Williams thinking that he was terrible and say, hey, here's what you do. You got to make him run out of the pocket, or he'll make mistakes, or you can sack him, or he's got happy feet, all this stuff. I know Caleb's improved from last year to this year, but the point is, though, like, could you not help at all if you're Eberflus? I'm sure they asked him, like, you know all the tendencies. Can you help? And it just shows you that Eberflus did not help in any way with his vanilla defense that could not get to the quarterback. And so that says a lot about Eberflus saying, he said to the Dallas press, I know everything about that building. I know about players in that building. Right. I know everything. And he didn't help at all. That's actually more of an indictment on Eberflus that he wasn't able to exploit anything as defensive coordinator.
No. And you know what was surprising about that to me, Hood, was I saw Eberflus give Ben Johnson problems when the Lions faced the Bears. Every year, the Lions had problems against Eberflus's defense. So I assumed when you put Eberflus in Dallas, he has something to prove because he's naturally pissed about being fired. I thought that you combine all those things, that defensively Dallas would play really well, because they had in the past, Eberflus's defense had in the past against the Ben Johnson offense, plus his knowledge of Caleb Williams as well as the other offensive parts. But no, it was the opposite. It was whatever he thought he knew was different. Ben exploited everything he knew about Eberflus. So Ben went to the defensive players and said, what would he do in this situation? And they told him. So they had better intel on Eberflus than Eberflus had on the Bears offensively. So that was surprising. But here's what I didn't like after the game. Nationally, Eberflus sucks as a defensive coordinator. You should fire him tomorrow. No, he didn't suck. Like, we saw him with some really good Bears defenses with mediocre players, and then all of a sudden they remove his best pass rusher and give him, mediocre players all around. It's like, why can't he stop anyone? Give him a little time. He's not a terrible coordinator. He's a terrible head coach. There's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
I understand what you're saying, but the heat is on. I'm just telling you, the heat is on in Dallas.
He'll be fired in like 2 weeks. He'll be fired again in like 2 weeks.
Okay, I have something for you. I have to look for it, but I saw an Ed Werder report about the heat on Eberflus, on the heat on this defense. I'll find it in a little bit while we talk about this. And there's something going on already. And by the way, when you make a major trade in the offseason, okay, like Micah Parsons, your best pass rusher, and you trade him away for a run stuffer, your defense is going to suffer. Eberflus didn't expect that to happen.
I mean, podcast Parsons being missing is, it's a challenge. You have to overcome that challenge when you're expecting your rush to help your secondary. And when you have no rush and you have a questionable secondary, you're going to get burned big time. So Eberflus can point to like, hey, we're stopping the run. Great. But you can't stop the pass because your secondary is questionable and you have no pass rush at all. So
right.
Caleb could have sat back there like Tom Brady yesterday and just, patted the ball, painted his nails, did everything he wanted to do, just pampered himself. And it didn't deliver a touchdown pass yesterday. That's how much time he had. Like, is that Eberflus's fault? Somewhat. but that's more of a Jerry Jones problem than it is the Eberflus problem.
That was unnecessary, by the way. Unnecessary shot. I just want you to know. You don't think
What
I'm
did
listening, right? We are all
what did I
listening to
say?
you.
What did I say? I was
Okay, well that's
what,
fine. Never mind. We are presented by Northwestern Medicine, Bronzeville, 4822 South Cottage Grove in Chicago. Dermatology, Cancer Center, immediate care, it's all there. What makes us better makes you better. Go to NM, like Northwestern Medicine, nm.org, and look for the Bronzeville location. And again, brand new, the outpatient center there in Bronzeville. Okay, Cuzzo. So it's funny. Let's hear now from Ed Werder. Oh boy. Okay. Did you catch that, Cuzzo?
I heard noise and I heard basically Ed was dead.
Yeah, no, Ed was not dead. Ed is telling you that there's something going on with the Cowboys. He's saying that he could be one and done. How about that?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. And he's still getting paid, so it doesn't cost the Cowboys much of anything at all. I'm, if I'm being honest, I'm surprised he came back without some level of guarantees from the Cowboys. It was a great job when Parsons was there, but
Mm-hmm.
you move Parsons, and there's not much left when you don't have a pass rush. And I don't know. So it's tough when you and Jerry Jones will throw Eberflus to the wolves in a
Yeah.
heartbeat, and I get it. Like he's just a guy. He's a guy that national media doesn't respect, so it's easier for Jerry to just bust toss Eberflus. But I don't think Dallas is going to get better defensively by dumping Eberflus. They have a lot of problems, and most of their problems start up top with Jerry Jones and his management of the roster. Uh, I don't understand how you're willing to give Dak Cousins, that was intentional,
Uh
Dak
huh.
Cousins, um, $60+ million a year, but you're unwilling to pay Parsons. When the reality is we've seen enough from Dak Cousins to know that he's a choke artist, and while he may be effective during the regular season, he's guaranteed to wet the bed when the playoffs come around. If they make the playoffs, he's guaranteed to wet the bed. So it's one of those situations where you move on, you get you a Geno Smith, a plug and play quarterback for half the price, and you can build the rest of your team out with the guy where you won't lose much from. But he's like, no, I got to give Parsons this, you know, $70 million deal and reset the quarterback market. But now I have enough to pay Parsons. It was silly. So if he wants to blame anyone for his defense, look in the mirror and figure it out.
Did you not hear Ed Werder for real? Do you want me to play it again?
No, no, I seriously didn't. Like there was silence, and I wasn't sure if I should like fill in that gap,
No.
or if
Okay.
it was, or if there was
I'll,
something on my end that I just couldn't hear it.
let me give this again just in case someone missed it. Ed Werder's report from the ABC affiliate in Dallas. So I spoke to a defensive coordinator in the NFL who looked at the Cowboys defensive tape, and he said, "Look, their problems are huge. It's blown assignments. It's
poor technique. It's late technique. It's bad eyes in the secondary on the quarterback. So a variety of things, a lot of criticism of Matt Eberflus, but this is really, Mark, a long-standing issue for the Cowboys. Eberflus is their fourth defensive coordinator in the last 6 years.
That's a lot.
Now,
yeah, that is.
Mike Nolan fired after one season. Cowboys gave up the most points in franchise history. Last year, Mike Zimmer gives up the second most points in the entire NFL. He doesn't return. And now the Cowboys have given up 92 points in their first 3 games, only the fourth time in history. They've never won more than 6 games, much less made the playoffs in that situation.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. One day I'm going to learn how to be able to put that on the show. on the YouTube so you can see that video. But you heard what he said there. Like, could be one and done, Eberflus.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Yeah, and I mean, there's no love lost, especially here, because we saw a guy who was not overmatched defensively, but overmatched as a leader of men. And for whatever reason, Bill Polian wasn't aware of that when he got McCaskey and to hire him. Like, that should have been obvious to all who heard the man speak for the first time that he couldn't lead anyone. But, you know, you pay him $6 million to lose some games, and, you know, you hope for the best.
One thing that I'm concerned with is this running game still, Cousin Wiley. Still concerned about the running game, right? So, you know, we like the idea that the Bears were able to have 11 straight runs on a 19-play touchdown drive. So that's great that they just wore down the Dallas defense. But I don't know when or will they do something about this running game. I can't remember a time. Maybe you could come up with something. I can't remember a time where the running game or the running room was so thin. Like, Monungai's a 7th-round draft pick. And so we watched him out there. It's fine. It's just, you know, just a body. But then you have DeAndre Swift, and he's no Neil Anderson. He's no Thomas Jones. Definitely no Thomas Jones, because fine actor. He spent a lot of time with Mrs. Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union. So he spent a lot of time there. Oh, yes, Thomas Jones. Probably better actor than running back. He spent a lot of time in some of those nice, you know, sultry love scenes. Thomas Jones. Have you seen this?
Someone had to service her.
Well, apparently so. I remember watching Being Mary Jane on BET, and I'm like, you're actually living your life on screen, your actual life, where she's like, no, I don't need a man. And then here comes Thomas Jones, former Bears running back, to take care of things for Gabriel. Take care of things. You understand.
Right. While Dwayne Wade is at home pampering himself, you know.
What do you mean by that, Cuzzo? What do you mean pampering himself? What are you saying there?
I don't know. He's just pampering himself. He's a model. He's a model. You know that.
Yeah, he is. Oh.
I was thinking about buying you some of his clothes. How about that?
I don't think so. He's a long way from helping the family in the Moo and Oink business, I'll tell you that. He's not sticking his hand in the chicken wings anymore. He's doing other things, apparently. So there's that.
Yeah,
but I don't remember the last time that the running back room was so thin. Right? Like Swift's a nice veteran, and you got Monungai. I saw Roshan Johnson. Saw the Kazoo helmet, like the great Kazoo. Saw him out there with a penalty.
Yeah, he's healthy, but I think he's like the fourth option in a 3-man room. So I don't think he's going to see the field at all. So I think that the plan is to bring Monungai along so you can eventually move on from the dancing that Swift provides you. Because it's a struggle. Like, you want your running back to go north and south, and Swift dances, and he often dances away from the actual hole that was open. You know, so that becomes a challenge. And I was looking at a stat last week, Cuzzo, and it was like the Bears' offensive line is providing like 1.5 yards before contact, which was best in the league. But somehow the Bears running back was providing production that was 31st in the league. Doesn't make sense. So if I'm giving you a 1.5 yard head start, the least you can do is finish it off instead of, dancing backwards or whatever else Swift has been known to do. But I think Monangai is going to be featured probably somewhere in the next few weeks because he's a Ben Johnson guy. Like, he runs hard. You saw him in college. Like, he doesn't have blazing speed, but he's going to get you some positive yards most of the time. He's not going to go backwards most of the time, even though, like yesterday, he did kind of dance out of some tackles and run backwards. But he was at least trying to go forward initially, instead of, trying to miss the hole prior to, like we've seen Swift do a lot. But yeah, the running back room is brutal. And I know the plan was to get one Ohio State backs, get Swift or a Junkins. I mean, not Swift, get Henderson or Junkins, but they missed out on them. But it's a challenge right now. It's brutal. It's really bad
because Caleb is not always going to be stellar, or the offensive line is not always going to be great. So that running game helps. Like, the running game could help against the Raiders on Sunday if you have something. But the one thing, Cuzzo, is that when you utilize the wide receiver in that spot, that's a gadget play. You want to do a reverse, that's a gadget play. But I'm seeing across the board, not the Bears, just everybody around the NFL is like, yeah, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put our 180-pound wide receiver in there to get killed. They're not built for that shit. They're built for, like, secondary guys that are as fast, maybe some linebackers as fast. But the notion that you continue to put wide receivers in that spot, that's not a good idea. If you want your wide receiver hurt, that's a great idea. Like CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's back there, and then he gets crushed by Noah Sewell. He's not going to play, by the way, CeeDee Lamb, for this upcoming game on Sunday night that they're going to play. So that's
sprain.
Yeah, that's not good. And by the way, that's not one you get over quickly, the high ankle sprain.
No, and I get it. Like, Ben is searching for some production from the backfield, and he's used St. Brown in the past, and they're like for a carry or two here or there. But he's using DJ Moore a lot more because we're not getting production from Swift. And Monangai was still trying to figure out the offense and the protection plans and stuff along those lines. But I'm hopeful that with Monangai getting more involved, that'll change. And at the very least, light a fire under Swift's ass. We can try to go forward instead of dancing to the side and backwards. Yeah. But yeah, they're going to have to address that in a major way in the offseason. Maybe first pick and draft address it if you don't get a free agent. But if they make progress this year, you may have to think about making a trade for one of those guys. Do what the 49ers did a few years ago, where they traded for gave up late round picks for a franchise guy. I don't know if you can still do that today, but yeah, they're gonna have to figure something out because Swift isn't the answer, and I'm not sure if Monangai can be because he doesn't have the breakaway speed.
All right, Cuzzo, the Bears will take on the NFL's version of Dick Van Dyke. Yes, it's Pete Carroll, the song and dance man, with his top hat and his cane. It's going to be in Vegas. I'll be out there. A lot of Bears fans will be out there to check out the Bears and against the Raiders. Before we start the season in our predictions, I had the Bears defeating the Raiders. I felt like they could win this game. But you tell everyone.
All right. The Bears will defeat the Raiders on Sunday, a Raiders team that has a shit offensive line. They will defeat the Raiders 38-20. So the offense will stay explosive. The defense will get some opportunities to plays against a shit Raiders offensive line, and Genty will still struggle because he's no holes are opening, and then Geno Smith will get a bunch of meaningless yards, but the Bears will dominate the Raiders on Sunday, 38-20. Caleb builds on his performance in against Dallas, and the Bears going to the bye 2-2. Bear down.
There you have it, folks. He's already laid it out there, the gauntlet. 2-2 going into the bye. The Bears win. And by the way, that's the way you go into the bye, because now you can evaluate who you want to play and who you don't want to play. So shout out to Darnell Wright in that regard.
Yes.
After four games, maybe Ben Johnson says, all right, Trapello, let's take a look at you at right tackle. Like, enough of these penalties. Like, 2. It didn't hurt the Bears, but the point is, though, he's had – I don't have the right number, but it's like 6 or 7 penalties. Is it 6?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
3 games. Like to me, that's inexcusable, because you are a top draft pick, and we've already had your coach talk about you losing focus because you're tired. You have a conditioning issue, and you are in your 3rd year in the league. Like, that can't be the case. The holdings, the false starts, it has to stop. So if we see a lot of that next game, if he builds on his streak of penalties next game, you're going to have to consider some change. And I'm just being honest, Jonah Jackson hasn't been much better himself. So maybe it's a case of where you're moving right inside and then moving Trapillo on the outside and letting him play tackle, and you're just benching Jonah Jackson, because that's a miss by Ben Johnson. He has been brutal. He's been brutal.
And don't forget, not just Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Ryan Poles.
I'm a Poles defender, so I won't give Poles that one. Poles picked him up because Ben vouched for him.
That's true.
Ben vouched for him. Ben said, this guy can help my offense. I trust him. I've had him before. But he had him as a left guard. Now he's playing right guard, and he's struggling to play right guard. So maybe, it's a one and done. You move right inside. He's nimble enough to play inside, and you let Trapillo anchor the outside at tackle. I don't know. But, yeah, we can't keep having these penalties every game, because it's hurting the offense.
Where's the mascot for Under the Hood?
He is the winning mascot. No, he's right here. He's waiting for his opportunity. Rocky.
Surprise. Been very quiet, Rocky.
Let's go.
Did you wake him?
He was resting.
there he is. Okay. Well, he was waiting for his cue. There it is. The mascot for Under the Hood. On a Bears victory Monday, as the Bears win over the Dallas Cowboys 31-14. Our thanks to our friends over at Northwestern Medicine in Bronzeville, 4822 Cottage Grove in Chicago, nm.org for Northwestern Medicine. What makes us better makes you better. Well, there he is, folks. There he is, Rocky.
Rocky and the Pope.
Don't do the hand trick, please. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please. I don't want people calling in about you and the hand and the hand and the mouth trick. Oh my God. Well, for Rocky, oh my God. For Rocky and for my crazy cousin Wiley, who always does the dog hand mouth trick. Okay. This is Jay Hood. We'll talk to you next time with another edition of Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Please.
All right, you're off. Down. You're off.